Welcome back, everyone. My guest today is James Twyman, and he is a author of I Don't Know, Maybe I Love You. What an interesting title with how to depolarize your family, business, country, and most importantly, the world. I added the most importantly part, excuse me.
Can I tell you a story about the pause that changed the world? There's actually the pause that saved the world. There,
Ah,
there there was a moment, I think it was in the very early 80s, when someone did exactly what we're talking about here, and it saved the world from being destroyed. Have you ever heard this story?
I have, but go ahead and explain it.
Okay, it's an amazing story that we only found out about a number of years ago. It was in Russia, and there was a nuclear missile site, and these two nuclear missile engineers or officers had a protocol for when they were given the order, they would not question that order. One would turn one key, the other would turn the other key, and World War III, the world would end because, of course, they would launch all of their nuclear weapons. The United States would launch ours. Not good. And in this particular missile silo in Russia, the order came. The order came to launch their weapons. And the one guy turned his key and said, go. And the other one said, wait a minute, I'm going to take a breath here. I'm just going to pause. And he held still. And the other guy said, you have to turn the key now. We have our orders. There is a protocol we have to follow. But still, the one guy said, I'm going to take a deep breath. And thank God he did, because almost instantly the stand down order came. There was a glitch in the computer, something happened. They were given a false order. If they had done what they said they were to do or what they were meant to do, they would have destroyed the world. So it just goes to show that these small little things, these decisions to pause, to listen, to hold still, can change everything if we're willing to listen, if we're willing to get over the need to be right all the time and just honor one another and practice those skills that we learned when we were in kindergarten.
Wonderful thought. Let's see a copy of that book again. It's
So here
called
it
I
is. I
Don't
don't
Know.
know. Maybe I love you. How to depolarize your family, business, country, and the world. You can get it, of course, Amazon or anywhere else, but we want to start a movement of depolarizers. So if you go to DE-polarize, so de-polarize.com, you can get the book. We have courses and many other things that you can participate in so that you can become one of the depolarizing agents that's going to save this world.
It's needed out there in the world to depolarize. I mean, I think that's it. If you can give people the steps to do that, James, that's a huge benefit to people because you're ready to burst, right? When somebody says something to you, and if you just take that for a moment and listen, it
Mhm.
passes. So, give us some tips on how people can do this in their family and business.
Well, I'll start by saying that I have a kind of a credo, a personal credo that I try to follow. And it's three parts. First part is, I don't care who you voted for. Come and walk with me. Second part, I don't care who you support, which side, left or right. Come and serve with me. And finally, there's nothing you can say that's going to change the way that I feel about you. So come in love with me and with our God. Let's just love one another despite our disagreements, despite the things that we hold very firm to. One of the problems that I see in this world today, and maybe especially the United States, is that we have put political opinion in front of the things that did make our country and all of us great, which is love, which is the way that we choose to love one another and get along with each other. We're always looking for a fight. We're always trying to identify who's different. Are you left or are you right? Or where do you find yourself? And instead of saying, we have children that we love. We have a country that we love. We have many things in common. How can we start there? So maybe the first answer to your question is let's start with the places of agreement. what we feel, what we recognize within each other that we can agree on, and build from there, as opposed to almost waiting for to hear something that someone does not agree on and then immediately shutting them down. All of this does is it leads to a more polarized country and world. So, as we said before, the first step is just to stop, take a deep breath, pause, and listen. The second step is to just remember that we do have so much in common. And if we can be curious about those things, then maybe we'll be able to start this movement that we started talking about right at the end of the last segment, the movement to depolarize and to come back together.
Well, hey, count me in. I think the whole idea about depolarizing, as say, beginning with yourself, is then reaching out to others, but willing to basically, you know, keep quiet, so to speak, and listen. It's the old thing, you have two ears and one mouth. So God gave you two ears to listen a little better. But anyway, as we move forward, let's talk about this movement. People that are out there, my audience, are in accord with what we're talking about. How do we start a movement? I understand you have 600 ministers in your organization so far. At least that's what I have from your press kit. This has got to go. It just has to grow. So how do we do that? How do we get more people to sign up for the movement?
Well, we've got to get people excited about it. We need people who are willing to take that risk of sharing this. Maybe it starts with something as simple as getting a book and getting other people to read the book. Obviously, I hope people read. I don't know. Maybe I love you. To go back again to anyone who maybe didn't hear the beginning, the whole title started with a disagreement I had with my brother, and I just had to look at him and say, Kenny, I don't know. Maybe there's something you have to share that I can learn from. But the foundation of it all is that I have to choose to love you no matter what. And there are people all over the world, especially all over the United States, who are really anxious to be part of a movement like this. And so that's what we're trying to start. It's not just have people buy a book. That's not going to help. But if people can get that book and then learn the tools that will help them to be depolarizing agents, then I think we might have a fighting chance.
Well, everybody needs a plan, and have a book such as yours, uh, certainly would be a beginning place or a starting place. I mean, we need confidence to say something along the lines like, am I right? Am I being abused, bullied, pushed around, whatever? I think that's part of the problem. Is there's too much bullying. So when somebody's in your face and trying to, you know, I guess convince you, maybe you have some mental reservations. When you get to that point, as you take a breath, like when you're talking to your brother Kennedy, I guess it was Kenny, I mean to say, I guess it was a bit of exasperation. It's kind of like, I don't know, but I still love you. What a place to start.
Exactly. That's the only place it can start. Because otherwise, what we're saying is, I know there's no possibility that I'm wrong. And really, I don't love you because I don't respect you enough to listen to you. So that place of not knowing for many people feels like weakness. It's like saying, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the answer is. But it's really the place to begin. Because the truth is, I don't know. And neither do you or anyone else. There's no way for us to know for sure, for certain, what needs to happen. But if I can just relax my need to be right, my own addiction to being right, and listen to you and listen to others, including the people that don't share my opinion, maybe we're going to learn something from each other. And maybe that thing that we learn from each other, there's nothing more important than us loving one another in spite of our differences.
I think it takes a big person to be able to say that. I don't know,
Hmm.
like, because we don't. How can we possibly know everything? And we look at the universe, and it's like I don't even know where I am in the universe. I just know I'm here, so therefore I am, kind of thing. So when people say when they arrive at that point, uh, I think the confidence inside of them will build and then realize that there are a lot of people showing their emotional immaturity and or their spiritual, immaturity, if you will, that they have to be right for their own validation or whatever. So as you're creating this movement and people are right now, my audience is saying, yes, I want to join. This is amazing. How can I depolarize my family? But you also included your business, I guess, in your workplace and also the world. So how do you wake up every morning and you say this, or what can one do every day to reassure themselves this is they're going to contribute, they're going to change the world one person at a time? How would you address that?
The first thing I would advise and encourage people to do is to join the movement. Actually, start by taking that step to say, I want to join with the people who are on the side of depolarization. And that can be as simple as going to our website, which is de-polarize. So depolarize with a little dash there, .com. And you're going to find a survey there that will take you 30 seconds. But that's going to help us to know how to guide this in the right direction. We'll even send you a copy of the first few paragraphs of the book, so you can have that and begin this journey. You know, it's funny that I've given this talk, oh, many times, and every time that I've talked about this topic, I realize how sticky this is. 2 days, 3 days later, I'll just kind of overhear a conversation from someone that was at my talk, and they'll say something like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I love you." It's just so fun to hear people using it and to see that there's something that's slightly humorous about it that catches our attention. And if we can do that, if we can just be, humorous, maybe, maybe having a sense of humor around all of these very serious topics can help to lighten things up a little bit. That's one of the things that I think we can all agree on. It's gotten so heavy. It's gotten so serious. And yeah, there's some very serious things going on today, absolutely. But by accusing people and pointing the finger and even being violent to the people that we disagree with, I don't think we're going to get anywhere. So if you want to join the movement of depolarizing, go to the website, get the book. Let's get people moving in the direction of a solution rather than even being more polarized and pulled further apart.
Wonderful advice. Hold that thought. We'll be right back after a short break.